Before we start with our content, we would like to explain what Learning2gether is. Learning2gether is a project approved and funded by the European Social Fund, through which 6 non-profit organizations from 5 countries, United Kingdom, Bulgaria, Belgium, Spain and Iceland, work together to improve the employability of young people, who are neither studying nor working, by training them in digital skills so that they can carry them out in the small and medium enterprises which are also participating in this project. The small and medium enterprises receive a direct learning from the young people on how to approach digital and social media for the promotion of their business and, of course, the creation of a personal brand for their business and/or product. While the young people learn about social skills and personal competences focused on the working environment. Prodiversa is a social movement of a progressive nature, made up of a citizenry committed to social transformation and democracy that aims to mobilize all its efforts to guarantee equality, social justice, and the promotion of fundamental economic, social and political rights that contribute to the integral development of individuals and peoples. Our values are participatory democracy, equality between all people, and feminism as a theory and practice that makes visible the structural inequality of women in the world. And of course, respect and recognition of diversity as an inherent condition of all human beings. In this module we will work on personal branding and everything that goes into designing your personal brand. In addition, we will learn other very useful tools for the job search such as your CV or cover letter, how to do a good interview, etc. The most important part of all this content is that we will learn how to create our brand and redefine our job search tools with our personal brand shown directly or indirectly in the job search tools we already know. One of the main objectives of this module is to work on self-knowledge. If we start from the deep knowledge of our weaknesses and strengths, we can have the basis for the construction of our personal brand. If this base is not well built, we will not be able to create anything that lasts over time and defines us. A clear and strong personal brand will facilitate the subsequent adaptation of our elements for the job search to that personal brand, a sign of our professional and work identity. Are you ready to start? What is a personal brand? Today we are familiar with the concept. We may not have mastered its definition, but it is not an unknown term as it has been for years. In fact, in the world of business, human resources, coaching, etc., the term personal brand has taken more and more presence and has come to stay. Let's start with an example to better situate ourselves in the concept. What is McDonald's personal brand? His image. Just by looking at his logo, we identify the brand, the company, the product, and, of course, we would be able to talk about what the company transmits to us. For example, 1. Work for young people. 2. Temporary and part-time work. 3. Place of leisure and free time. 4. Good company. 5. Fast food service. 6. I can go by car and buy the product without entering the store. A product for everyone, young people, families with children. All this has as a first step for reflection, the visualization of your corporate image, in short, your personal brand. What is personal branding? Personal branding is the process of managing, optimizing and developing a strategy and actions to guide your brand. A brand is anything a symbol, design, name, sound, reputation, emotion, employees, tone, and much more that separates one thing from another. A personal brand is in many ways synonymous with your reputation and is all about who you are and what you want to be known for. It refers to the way other people see you as a business owner or representative of an idea, organization, or activity. A powerful personal brand has to be authentic, based on your talents, your values, and the way you serve other people. This will help people to be clear about who you are, both in person and online and through the opinions of people whom they trust. Why you need a personal brand. If you develop your brand at the same time as you develop that of a company, you will manage to be a symbiosis, that is to say, one will be synonymous with the other. The benefits you will get from this merger are great. On the one hand, by exploiting your personal brand, you will be able to stand out as a net leader in the field in which your company develops, which will imminently create a showcase in which the business will be the main attention, thus improving the reputation of both. If you use a CRM, customer relationship management, style in your brand, you will surely reinforce the confidence that customers place in both. Remember, patience is the key to success. Once you have decided to project your personal brand, you must always bear in mind that success does not come overnight, but is achieved by working morning and night. The process of consolidating your brand will be slow. You only have to be patient, persevering, and never lower your arms. Don't give up. Triumph always comes to those who fight to achieve it. You have to understand that this creative process has very little to do with logic or reason, because no matter what services you offer, it can be an e-commerce store or a blog with your recipes, consumers will be much more comfortable if they perceive you as a human being, as someone real, who speaks to them from their soul and gives them what they require with passion, with the heart. This is one of the best loyalty programs you can imagine. In order to create your personal brand, we must take into account several steps that you must follow in order to reach the creation of your brand. The first step is to analyze yourself, that is, to know about your beliefs, values, your strengths, and your abilities. When we have identified how I am, we must define the way in which I will transmit to others my personal brand, how I will project it. And, finally, to define its final design. For this task, we propose different exercises that you have already heard about. They are dynamics that will allow you to work on self-knowledge. These exercises are designed so that you can count on the opinion of the people around you, family, friends, etc. Counting on more people to do these exercises will help you to know how we communicate with others, what image they have of us and our way of being. Remember that we have a high level of responsibility for the image that others have of our way of being. Joaries window is the first activity we suggest you do. To be able to do it, you will have to count on your friends and family. Joaries window is a useful model for analyzing the dynamics of interpersonal relationships. Johari is nothing more than a word invented by the authors of this theory that corresponds to the first letters of their names. These researchers were Joseph Luft and Harry Ingham. The model takes the form of a double-entry matrix in which the columns represent the I and the rows represent the others. The first column represents what I know about myself, The second column represents what I do not know about myself. Likewise, the upper row contains what others know about me and the lower one what others do not know about me. The analysis of the model is made on the individual, I, oneself, and its relationship with others. But by changing the word I, oneself, to team or group, the model also allows an approach to the dynamics of groups or teams and their environment. Johari's window generates 4 areas. Open area. It includes everything we know about ourselves and what others know about us. The things that are evident: sex, race, external qualities, ways of carrying out daily activities, etc. Everything that we communicate without difficulty to others: feelings, ideas, public opinions, tastes, etc. The open area is the only clear and free area. In it are the experiences and data known by the person himself and those around him. It is characterized by the free and open exchange of information between the self and others. In it, behavior is public and accessible to all. For example, our way of working in any activity we carry out, our habitual way of behaving, etc. The open area increases or evolves in size as the level of trust between participants or between the participant and his or her group grows, and also as more information is shared, especially if it is important information of a personal nature. 2. Hidden area. It includes everything I know about myself, but others ignore. Feelings, experiences, intimate experiences, etc. All that presents us with difficulty of communicating, private opinions, tastes not known by others, etc. The occult area encompasses the world of everything that I consciously do not communicate to others. The contents of this zone can pass more or less easily to the open area, but it is the interpersonal relationship that tends to reduce them. It is in this area that we find much of what we know about ourselves and what we hide from others. It is probable that we are afraid that if the group came to know our feelings, perceptions, and opinions regarding the group itself, its members or ourselves, perhaps the group could reject us, attack us, or take some kind of action against us. Consequently, we do not disclose such information. Many times one of the possible reasons why we keep it secret is because we don't find support in the group. We assume that if we reveal our feelings, thoughts, and reactions, the members of the group may judge us negatively. However, unless we reveal something about ourselves and verify whether our assumption is true, we will have no chance of knowing how the group members will actually react. That is, if we do not take certain risks, we will never know anything about the reality or unreality of our assumptions. On the other hand, we also try to maintain secrecy when we are motivated by the desire to control or manipulate others. 3. Blind area. It includes everything that others see in us and we do not see. Feelings of inferiority, superiority, frustrations, fears, etc. Everything that forms the impression that we cause to others and that we communicate in our way of being, of behaving, in gestures and expressions, etc. The blind area is where all our limitations that we are not aware of, but that others can observe and experience in the process of interaction, are represented. The interpersonal relationship can make us aware of the contents of the blind area, even though we often refuse to admit that we are like this or have such and such a defect or limitation. In this zone our defense mechanisms act with great force, but this area can be reduced in favor of the open area to the extent that we accept feedback from others in the process of interaction by developing an attitude of receptivity such that it incites group members to give us that feedback, or what is commonly known as feedback. For unknown area, it includes all that we ignore and others ignore as well. Experiences, instincts, contents of consciousness, repressed or forgotten experiences, etc. Everything that makes up the world of the unconscious. The unknown area represents those factors of our personality of which we are not aware and which are consequently unknown to the people who relate to us. It is the area of our unconscious motivations, an area that represents our unknown or unexplored aspect that some psychologists call the potential, or all those latent potentialities and resources yet to be discovered. The second exercise that we propose you to do is called the Wheel of Life. In this exercise you don't need anyone to do it. It is an individual activity designed to facilitate a moment of reflection on certain areas of our life and how we feel about them. Remember to keep the document that results from doing this activity, because after a while you will be able to do it again and analyze the changes that have taken place in your wheel of life. Are you ready to start? It is a technique that is widely used and is very visual, and you can keep it forever wherever you go, so you can have a record of how you were each year that passes. The Wheel of Life is a wheel, as its name suggests, a circle, which has several axes. It usually has 8. These 8 axles can be any aspect of our life, any area of our life. They are usually these: 1. Personal development, personal growth. 2. Family, the home, your children, or your parents. 3. Work, career development. It doesn't have to be that you're employed, it could be that you're unemployed. This aspect refers to what we do for a living. 4. Money, that economic factor that sometimes gives us headaches. 5. Love, relationship or more emotional development. 6. Friends, social relationships, friendships, companions. 7. Health or energy, both physical and mental. 8. Hobbies, how you use your free time, and if you have one. And how is this wheel of life made? Well, you have to name a number from 0 to 10 depending on how satisfied you feel with that area of your life. For example, if we take personal development, ask yourself, how satisfied do I feel from 0 to 10 in that area, in personal development? Once each area of your life has been scored on its corresponding line according to the score given, it joins the points. The result will be a kind of figure that, as you make this dynamic with the passage of time, your figure will change shape. Assessment of personal brand. This part of the topic will help you assess the personal brand knowledge you have acquired in this unit. If you can't answer any of the 8 questions, don't think you haven't learned enough. Breathe and review the content. Remember, patience is one of the keys. 1. What would you like to contribute with your work? 2. What are your passions? 3. What are your medium and long-term goals? 4. How does your environment perceive you? 5. What sets you apart from others in your sectors of interest? 6. What are your weaknesses and how can you overcome them? 7. What you want to offer is necessary? 8. What is the message you want to convey with your brand? In this activity number 3, we bring you an audiovisual content. We want to show you an elevator pitch. With this activity you will see materialized or, rather, defined and applied the ideas or points to reflect that, arrived to this point of the unit we have been working. Enjoy the video while you learn more about your personal brand. After watching the video, try to design a little script about how your own elevator pitch would be. When applying for positions in the employee market, you will be required to submit a curriculum vitae. A curriculum vitae includes details of your education and academic achievements, research, publications, awards, affiliations, and more. The elements that you include will depend on what you are applying for, so be sure to incorporate the most relevant information to support your candidacy in your CV. Personal details and contact information, education and qualifications. Be sure to include the names of institutions and dates attended in reverse order: PhD, Master's, Undergraduate. Work experience/employment history. The most widely accepted style of employment record is the chronological curriculum vitae. Your career history is presented in reverse date order starting with the most recent appointment. More emphasis/information should be placed on your most recent jobs. When we are talking about 5 basic principles for a good CV. 1. Focus on the essentials. Be brief. Generally 2 pages in A4 are more than enough, regardless of your background or experience. An employer generally spends less than 1 minute examining a CV. If you have little professional experience, you first describe the education and training received. 2. Be clear and concise. Use short sentences. Focus on the relevant aspects of your education and professional experience. 3. Always adapt your CV to suit the position you are applying for. Highlight your strengths in relation to the employer's needs and focus on the competencies that are appropriate for the position applied for. 4. Take care of the presentation of your CV. Present your competencies and skills in a clear and logical way. Put the most relevant information first. 5. Review your CV once it has been completed. Correct any spelling or punctuation mistakes, and make sure the structure is clear and logical. The interview will normally be the first time that the employer has the opportunity to meet you. They will want to assess whether or not you have the qualities to perform the role competently, the experience that you have so far in a similar role, and also whether they like you as a person and whether you are likely to fit into the team environment. A job interview is your opportunity to shine. It is your chance to show the employer that you are the person for the job and that you will do all that you can to perform above and beyond expectations if successful. Just by being at the interview, you should naturally be enthusiastic about the prospect of working for the company. Why be there, if your heart is not in it? The psychological element of an interview is very important. Matching the job description with the person's specification. Before you start preparing for the interview, you must get a copy of the job description and person specification for the job you are applying for and start to matching your personal brand with job. Learn as much as you can about the company, mission statement, goals, values, key products/services. Ensure you can provide real-life examples of where you match the job description, skills, responsibilities, qualifications, experience, projects, achievements. Think about why you apply to this job. Turn your weakness into asset, for example, difficulty to delegate tasks, into an asset. Take into account colleagues' opinion. Show that you can adapt to different work environments. Illustrate this. For example, in a difficult period, I managed to motivate the team, and we exceeded the objectives set. Explain why you would have to get the job, avoiding to say that you are the best candidate for the job. Instead, showcase your suitability for the role, for example that you are a team player who has the experiences and skills to match the job description. Exercise 4. Now let's see a practical example of what we learned in this section. Watch the video and answer the questions posed. The cover letter is a tool to help introduce yourself in a personal way during a job application. A well-crafted cover letter goes over information on your resume and expands this information for the reader, taking them on a guided journey of some of your greatest career, life achievements, and personal qualities for working. The cover letter is your first introduction to the person who may hire you, and its goal should be to make you as memorable as possible, in a good way. That means writing a unique cover letter for every job you apply to. No templates. No pre-written nonsense. The format of your cover letter should also match the company and the industry you're applying to. There is no official format for your cover letter or the information you include in it, but your cover letter should be visually organized and orderly in its presentation of information. Your cover letter should be a carefully curated selection of stories from your career that gives the reader a clear idea of who you are and how you can add value to their company. The Society for Human Resources surveyed organizations on resumes, cover letters, and interviews and found the top 3 things that must be included in a cover letter are: 1. How a candidate's work experience meets job requirements. 2. How a candidate's skills meet job requirements. 3. Why a candidate wants to work at the organization. What to leave off a cover letter. Recruiters and hiring managers read thousands of cover letters and resumes, so make sure that you avoid these cover letter errors. Here are some more phrases that make recruiters and hiring managers groan. To whom it may concern. Dynamic. Please feel free. Significant. Self-starter. Detail-oriented. Really, truly, deeply. Never include irrelevant information in your cover letter. Irrelevant information can confuse or bore the reader, causing them to miss important points in your candidature. Not forget to mention your online brand. While discussing your passion for your career and the possibility of working for the company, you could mention that you manage a not-for-profit blog that allows you to delve deeper into the field, or that you volunteer with an organization in order to provide your expertise. Storytelling is an ancient art which is tackled in so many domains, from the study of ancient cultures to movie making, fiction writing, and branding. Yet, it has never been more important than today, especially to strengthen your brand. It is also often misunderstood because it is not just a technique in the creation of written and visual content. When crafting your brand story, you must illustrate what your voice is, what you stand for, and why it matters to the lives of the audience that has its own stories. Storytelling illustrates events through words, images, and sounds, and can help you build your personal brand and a way to express yourself. A story has a basic structure, a beginning, middle, and end. The best stories pull you in from the beginning, keep your interest in the middle, and leave you with a satisfying ending, wanting for more. To tell a good story, you need to have a good story. Most people need suggestions, and the following questions are a good start. What is the funniest experience you have ever had? Who is the most influential person you have ever met? When have you identified problems others did not see? Etc. How to put order into our story. Start a document, and create 2 columns like picture. Column A. With your answers, select those that allowed you to write down demonstrable accomplishments and experiences others pursuing similar career goals would likely be able to list as well. Degrees and credentials earned. Skills mastered. Roles previously held. Projects built. And so forth. Column B. With your answers, select those that allowed you to write down demonstrable accomplishments and experiences that are more likely to be unique to you, but that still relate at least tangentially to your career goals. For example, places you've traveled, people you've worked with, articles you've written, awards you've received, internships you've held, talents you possess, obstacles you've overcome. Now, forget about column A completely. Your job is to write column B. And remember, this is for your eyes only. It is not the movie. It is just the script. Do not worry too much about grammar, tone, etc. Just keep it simple. We hope that this content has been useful for you to start thinking beyond a CV, job interview, or a letter of introduction without identity, without being something unique and inimitable.